Video game Easter eggs are usually harmless references that aren't meant to offend anyone. However, in some cases, the whole point of the Easter egg is to take a shot at another game. Here are 11 video game Easter eggs that roast the competition. Right, let's begin today's video with the first of 3 Duke Nukem games, which I think makes Duke the biggest bully in gaming. Anyway, 1996's Duke Nukem 3D released at a time when the competition amongst first-person shooters was very high. Games like Doom had already made a splash, and it was in 1996 that the first Quake game hit the shelves. Well, not one to pick on the little guy, Duke took a shot at the king. On the death row level, you can find this.
That's one doomed space marine.
So this chap is a reference to the Doom guy from the Doom games, though it appears Duke doesn't have much sympathy. Next up is a game that many of you won't have heard of, but you will have definitely heard of the game it takes a shot at. Block Strike is a mobile-only first-person shooter that is pretty much what you'd expect from a mobile-only first-person shooter. Still, despite being a relatively basic game, it wasn't afraid to take a pop at one of 2020's most anticipated releases. On the Noughts map, you can find this. So hidden behind a wall are some very glitchy game objects along with the logo for Bug Simulator 2077, which is a reference to Cyberpunk 2077's infamously rocky launch. Now technically, this next Easter egg isn't an Easter egg, but before you start typing your clever replies in the comment section, just hear me out. Battlefield Bad Company 2 was given the almost impossible job of toppling the Call of Duty juggernaut whilst it was at its peak. I mean, the year that Bad Company 2 released was the same year that Call of Duty Black Ops 1 released, which is considered one of the best games in the series. So what do you do when trying to compete with a series like COD? Well, you take shots at it, that's what. During the game's campaign, there are a couple of times that the Bad Company boys mock the soldiers from Call of Duty, with the first example being this.
I should clear this with Braidwood.
No. He'll just send some special ops douchebags with pussy-ass heartbeat monitors on their guns instead of us.
So the team argue that if the higher-ups are called, they will just send in special ops douchebags with heartbeat sensors, which is a nod to 2009's Modern Warfare 2. The other insult is my personal favourite. So the reason that snowmobiles are for sissies is because the same mission that featured heartbeat sensors in Modern Warfare 2 also saw you make an escape using snowmobiles. Okay, now you can leave your clever comments. Now, there are so many references in the Henry Stickmin collection that there was always going to be at least one reference that took a shot at another game. And, well, here we are. During the Escape the Prison level, you can try to outrun some gun-wielding guards, and after a small chase, this will happen. So choosing to turn left will cause Henry to trip on seemingly nothing, with a message appearing that says LOL Brawl reference. Well, this is a reference to the trip mechanic that was introduced in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, which everybody hated. Next up is the second Duke Nukem game for today's video, and this time Duke insults a gaming icon. During Duke Nukem Time to Kill's first level, you can gain access to a secret room at the strip club, and if you enter the closet, you can find this.
You skanky outfit.
So the outfit that Duke is calling skanky is the same outfit worn by Lara Croft. If this isn't the most 90s Easter egg you've ever seen, I don't know what is. Now, there is a chance that this next Easter egg was so disrespectful that lawyers got involved and forced some things to be changed. During the broadcast mission in Dying Light 2, you are tasked with finding Leon and Chris, 2 people who have been split up from their squad. After some good old-fashioned zombie slaying, you can find Leon, who has definitely seen better days.
Hey man, don't talk like that. Is there any more survivors?
Aren't you the blind optimist? Chris, he punched through and went that way.
Now, I'm sure that most of you have already connected the dots here and realised that this soldier called Leon with hair like a 90s boy band member is a reference to Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil. If there was any doubt, you can find Leon's dog tags after killing him, which reveal his full name is Leon Kennedy. Now, before Leon's untimely demise, he tells you that Chris, quote, punched through, and sure enough you can find Chris later on, though he's now a zombie, meaning you have to put him down. After dealing with Chris, you can pick up his dog tags and discover that his name is Chris Redfield, aka the boulder punching beefcake from Resident Evil 5, which makes the punching through comment that Leon made earlier pretty damn funny. Now, you might be wondering what Capcom made of having two of their most popular characters appear dead in another zombie game. Well, it appears they weren't happy, as not long after the game's launch, the names of the pair were changed to Chris Bluefield and Leon Kennedy, which is the kind of pettiness I live for. Up next is Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Now, one of the bonus modes in the subsistence version of Metal Gear Solid 3 was the Snake vs Monkey mode, which sees Snake hunting the apes from Ape Escape. Now, when approached with this mission, Snake is understandably cautious, and that's when he says this.
Snake, we need you. If you don't do this, who will?
It's not like someone else couldn't handle a stealth mission.
Don't say that. This is the genre we turned over every leaf in.
Why don't you make Sam or Gabe do the job?
Snake.
So Snake suggesting that this is a job more suited for Sam or Gabe is a reference to Sam Fisher from the Splinter Cell series and Gabriel Logan from the Siphon Filter games, who Snake obviously thinks are more suited to less serious missions. Now, Ghostrunner is a very fast-paced game, meaning that you can't really take the time to stop and enjoy the scenery. But you might want to if you want to find this next Easter egg. During the dark days of 2020, when we were all forced to stay inside, a game was released that had the internet in a chokehold. Well, for a couple of weeks at least. And what happens when something gets popular? Well, everyone wants to tear it down. So this is a Fall Guy from Fall Guys. I mean, killing a character from another game has to be the ultimate insult. Now, believe it or not, there was a time when Grand Theft Auto wasn't the biggest video game on the planet. And in fact, a series called Driver was the go-to for fans of exploring cities by car. Of course, we all know that GTA went on to achieve mega success, whilst the Driver series stalled. Pun intended, with the last game released in the series being the admittedly brilliant Driver San Francisco. Now, the game that was the beginning of the end for Driver was the infamous Driver 3, which promised so much but delivered so very little. Of course, it didn't help that Driver 3 released 2 years after the excellent GTA Vice City, so comparisons were always going to be made, especially when Driver 3 openly mocked Vice City's main character. Hidden around the game world are these guys. So this Hawaiian shirt wearing submachine gun wielding man is Tommy Vermicelli, which is a reference to Tommy Vercetti from Vice City. Tommy Vercetti couldn't swim in Vice City, hence why his character in Driver 3 was given armbands. I mean, it's a pretty good attempt at an insult, but if your game is terrible, you really shouldn't be poking fun at other games. Up next is Kingdom Come Deliverance with another joke at the expense of CD Projekt Red. When visiting the stables, you can get a closer look at some of the horses on sale. One of these horses is called Roach, though I'm sure it's not the Roach that we're all thinking of. Well, if you speak to the owner of the stables and ask about Roach, he will have this to say.
Oh, she's a pretty good horse. Oh, she's got a mind of her own. I bought her from some odd Polish fella. He said, now he's settled down with a wife, he's afraid she'd want him to stuff her. Them Poles are a perverse lot.
So the stable owner says that he bought Roach off some odd Polish fellow, who is now married and is worried that his new wife would want the horse stuffed. This is of course a reference to the Witcher 3's main character Geralt of Riviera and his trusty steed, Roach. Okay, so it's only right to end this video with another Duke Nukem game. In the so bad it's kind of good Duke Nukem Forever, Duke can find some very familiar armor.
Duke, we've got your green power armor over here and ready to go.
Power armor is for pussies.
Well, okay. You want a gun instead?
So this power armor belongs to Master Chief, though it appears that Duke thinks the Chief isn't all that great. So that's it. If you enjoyed this video, then a like is really appreciated. Subscribe if you like video game Easter eggs and hidden details, and as always, I'll speak to you all soon.